about Seng Industry Berhad. My name is Nurul Izzatie Binti Rosdin.
My name is Nurain Amirah Binti Zai'in.
My name is Nurul Alia Binti Tajudin.
Hi, my name is Siti Hidayahtul Solehah Binti Mohamad Ismail Selloo.
My name is Noradlina Binti Redzuan.
First and foremost, let's start with Seng Industry Berhad company background. Seng is one of the leading crackers manufactured in Malaysia. Seng Industry Berhad was incorporated on 4th October 1991 and was later listed on the main board of Bursa Malaysia Securities Berhad on 2nd November 2000. Seng Industry Berhad has three subsidiaries company, namely Seng Perusahaan Makanan Sdn Berhad, Seng Hon Yong Brothers Sdn Berhad, and Incomix Food Industry Sdn Berhad. Seng Industry Berhad is an investment holding company in which subsidiary companies engage in the manufacture and sale of crackers, biscuit, and confectionery food items.
For your knowledge, one of the instruments that may be used as my financial statement is common size analysis, which expresses each item in it as a percentage of the best amount for the period. We shall begin with the statement of financial performance. As shown in the table below, the earning before interest and tax EBIT for Seng has dropped from 19.82% in 2017 to 12.62% in 2021. Furthermore, the profit before tax (EBT) for Seng has somewhat decreased, as has the profit before interest and tax, which is only a small fraction of the total, indicating that 2017 and 2018 do not have these finance costs, and the remainder of the year is 0.007%, 0.006%, and 0.01% in 2019, 2020, and 2021 respectively. As a result, profit next of tax (EAT) has dropped dramatically from 14.83% in 2017 to 9.21% in 2021. Meanwhile, the company's income tax costs have seized a major share of sales since 2017, affecting the profit before interest and tax and further reducing the profit financial year, which is EAT, by around 3%. In the previous 2 years, in 2020 and 2021. According to the financial performance statement below, even though revenue climbed from 2017 to 2021, operating expenditure increased, resulting in a reduced net income.
So now I will explain for the common size statement of financial position. The current asset is maintaining not more than 70%, while non-current assets not less than 40% for the recent 5 years. The larger proportion of current asset means that the company is on the position of high liquidity, which allows them to have a good capability in paying their short-term obligation. For the recent 5 years, the company had gradually increased its inventories from 10.23% in 2017 to 13.62% of total assets in 2021, which is from this situation, we can assume that Seng was managing its goods and services well and anticipating a surge in demand in the near future. As for the liabilities and equity, we can see from the figure that the portion of equity for Seng is maintained at an average of 35% debt and 65% equity. This indicates that the company has more internal than external financings, or that more than half of its financial resources originate from within the company's operation. Furthermore, the non-current liabilities for the recent 5 years are at an average of 3.3%, which means that the company can control their debt because the lower the percentage, the less leverage a company has, and the stronger its equity position. So we can assume that Seng can pay off their long-term obligation.
Now, I will present about analysis of index number trend statement of financial performance. Based on table data, it indicates that the index number trend for financial performance year from 2017 until 2021. The revenue of Seng Industry Berhad in 2018 is increasing from the base year to 102.57%. It was because of increasing revenue that the company gained more customer or addition on price goods. the next consecutive year from 2019 until 2021, it can be seen that the company's revenues start to increase. However, in 2021, the revenues start to decline and below the best year. It indicates that the company's sales performance is poor. This can be due to the situation of COVID that plagues in the world. For the Seng industry Berhad, other operating income, we can see it has risen significantly from the base year, which is 2017. This indicates the company is more able in generating other income in their business. In addition, we observe that the index for operating expenses has decreasing trend in 2021, which is 62.84% until the base year in 2017. This indicates the company is unable to reduce their operating expenses by spending less money on operating costs. Next, from the data, we can see the profit before interest and tax for Seng Industry Berhad has fluctuated from the base year until 2021. The trend of profit before interest and tax is showing uptrend in 2018, but decreased to 90.16% in 2019. However, the next year it shows an improvement, which is 92.63%, and until it dropped back to 62.80% in 2021. It shows that the decrease in profit before interest and tax is due to the decrease in sales generated in 2020. Lastly, profit for the financial year has started decrease from 100% in 2017 to 91.85% in 2020. However, in 2021, the profit still declines, where it was recorded at 61.29%. The significant drop in profit for the financial year for 2021 is due to the impact of COVID-19.
So my name is Noradlina. So we move to the index trend statement of financial position. So based on the index trend statement of financial position, the percentage of property, plant and equipment has an inconsistent trend from the base year 2017 until current year in 2021. As we can see, in 2021, it dropped by 93.65% compared to the base year. This shows that the company does not purchase additional new equipment. Next, the company inventories have an inconsistent trend from the base year until 2021. In the year 2018, the inventories increased from 100% to 102.25%. Starting the year 2018 to 2019, the inventories decreased to 97.75%. Then it increased to 119.65% and then incurred a small drop by 113.49% in 21. This indicates that in 2021, the company is reducing its production due to the lesser inventory purchasing. Lastly, for the tax payable for Seng industry, we can see that the tax payable percentage increased in 2017 until 2018 from 100% to 107.95%. Respectively. Then it decreased in the year 2019 with 71.85% and increased back to 119.37% in 2020. In 2021, the tax payable decreased back to 53.90%. So this indicates that the company has only to pay the law tax as its short-term obligation. It also indicates that the amount of money that the company owes in federal, provincial and municipal taxes is getting lower in recent years.
Now, we go to the first financial ratio, which is liquidity ratio. So, a liquidity ratio is a financial ratio that indicates whether a company's current asset will be sufficient to meet the company's obligations when they become due. All the liquidity ratio performance for Seng Industry Berhad in 2020 is slightly lower compared to other years in 2017, 2018, 2019 and 2021. It is because the current ratio, quick ratio and the collection period in 2020 of Seng Industry Berhad is lower than other years. It means that the company is unable to utilize its overall asset and is not good in managing its asset, which means it is unable to pay short-term obligation without having to rely on its inventory in 2020. It comes from the factor of higher current liability in 2020 with RM80,668,353 than other years, which is in 2017, 2018, 2019 and 2021 respectively. It means that the company is having problem in managing their debts or obligation. Thus, no reminder for late payment as in 2020 has a lower collection period. However, Housing Industry Berhad is suggested to manage current liability well, adopt effective stock control system, and adopt tighter collection policy.
The efficiency ratio, commonly referred to as the activity ratio, is a sort of financial indicators that illustrates how successfully a business generates income and cash flow from its balance sheet assets. The performance cash turnover and total asset turnover for Seng Berhad for 2021 is slightly lower compared to the other 4 years, while fixed asset turnover for 2019 is lower than the other years. It is because of over-invested in fixed assets in 2019. It means that Seng Berhad may have made a significant investment in fixed assets, with a time lag before the new assets begins to generate sales. The fixed assets turnover ratio dropped from 3.90 times in 2020 to 3.69 times in 2021. It indicates that Seng Berhad is unable to measure how effectively the firm uses its property, plant and equipment to generate sales in 1 year, and the same goes to the cash turnover, which decreased from 0.93 times in 2020 to 0.84 times in 2021. It means that the firm is unable to measure how many times the company can replenish its cash balance using its sales revenue. However, the Seng Berhad can still maintain invested in fixed asset by leasing the assets. This allows to spread payments over a set period of time in regular installment, freeing up more cash.
A solvency ratio may also be used to estimate how changes in output will influence operating profits by measuring a company's maximum operating cost. Debt ratio and debt to equity ratio for 2017, 2018 and 2021 are better than 2019 and 2020, while time interest earned for 2020 are better than the other 2 years. Changes in the solvency ratio are influenced by a number of factors. For example, the debt-equity ratio and debt ratio are affected by increase in total debt from 2017 to 2020, which is a negative sign for company. But in 2021, there are changes in these two ratios which show a positive sign for the company to pay back their debt. Moreover, changes in the time interest earned are influenced by an increase in earning before interest and tax and a decrease in interest expenses from 2019-2020, which is a positive sign for the company. But in 2021, it shows a decrease in time interest earned, meaning that it is a negative sign for the company. The debt-equity ratio dropped from 0.64 times in 2020 to 0.49 times in 2021, indicating that the firm has more funds contributed by its owner than by creditors. In terms of debt ratio, the results are uneven from 2017 to 2021, although it is still less than 1.0, indicating that the company has more asset than debt. Finally, the time interest generated has fallen from 2954.55 times in 2020 to 1383.64 times in 2021, indicating that the business is having difficulty meeting its interest payment commitments as well as having a lesser capacity, a large risk of default, and has serious trouble in financial. It shows that the company can still pay back their debt because their debt ratio is lower than 1.0, meaning that the company still have more assets than debt.
A profitability ratio assesses a company's ability to earn profit from its sales or operation, balance sheet assets, or shareholders' equities. It indicates how efficiently a company generates profits and value for shareholders. On the profitability ratio performance for Seng industry in 2021 is lower than the 4 years before. It is because of the higher cost of sales in the year and the decline of sales revenue in 2021. It means that this firm make less profit while the cost of sales remain high. The main reason that the cost of sales increase occur are due to expensive sources of goods, high labor costs, high production wastage, and lower selling price, the gross profit margin for 2021 is less than 30% compared to 2017 until 2020, which is more than 30%. It indicates that the firm is unable to control the cost of sales relative to its sales revenue. The net profit margin dropped from 12.34% in 2020 to 9.21% in 2021, and it shows that the firm won't have a better growth prospect and is unable to generate net earnings for shareholders. Then, the return on asset for the year 2021 is also the lowest compared to the other years. It means that the firm might have overinvested in assets that have failed to produce revenue growth. A higher cost of sales and decline in sales revenue can cause a drop in net operating income and also lower net earnings for the shareholder as the productivity of net profit margin is relatively lower.